Hello guys, welcome back to a new video. Inside of today's video, I'm going to be covering exactly how to confirm your daily bias utilizing quarterly theory. So I have already taught you guys how to find your daily bias within another YouTube video. So now inside of this video is going to be actually how to confirm it, right? Because it's one thing knowing where price is going to go on the day, but it's the second thing knowing when to actually enter and knowing when price is put in low or high of the day. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So the first thing is, of course, you need to identify that daily bias. Are you dealing with an open low high close or an open high low close daily candle? So first thing is first, we must have a very clear, obvious daily bias. You have to know where the daily candle is likely to go. We can do this by looking back at the previous weekly cycle quarter and through the candle closures, which is what I taught inside my daily bias YouTube video. Once we have identified what the daily candle is likely to do, we can then utilize quarterly theory, cracks in correlation, CIC, to confirm this. So as long as we know exactly where that daily candle is likely to go, we can then use the CICs, the cracks in correlations, to confirm that. So the first one will be Sequential SMT, SSMT. SSMT is a tool we use to confirm manipulation. We ideally want to see a daily cycle SSMT to confirm our high or low of the day. However, if we see all assets run below or above the previous session's low or high, we can then anticipate a 90-minute SSMT to put in high or low of the day. So as you can see to the chart on the right, we're on the 15-minute chart viewing the daily cycle, and the daily cycle is designed to capture the daily range, which is what we're trying to trade, that daily candle. So whenever we see a SSMT put in, for example, it can be between Asia and London or London and New York AM, we can then anticipate that to be high or low of the day. Of course, we need to wait for that confirmation of the SSMT by using our TCISD. Once that has occurred, then we can be very confident that the low or high of the day has been put in, and then you can begin trading away from that in line with your daily bias. However, like mentioned, if we don't get that daily cycle SSMT, so if you look at the example to the right, just a picture, all assets have ran below London Q2's low on the daily cycle. This is then when we're looking for a 90-minute SSMT, ideally below stacked opens. So here is a visual of how that would look. This is London's price action to the left, and then we enter New York AM's price action, but now we're on the 5-minute chart viewing the 90-minute cycle, and all we're doing is looking for a 90-minute SSMT. It can be between Q1 and Q2, Q2 and Q3, Q3 on Q4, as long as it occurs within that New York AM session, below London's low if we're looking for low of the day, and of course above London's high if we're looking for high of the day. And also to increase the probability, if we're looking for longs, we ideally want to see the true session open below the true day open, and if we're looking for shorts, we want to see the true session open above the true day open, and then of course be above that previous session high. So those are two ways how we can utilize sequential SMT to confirm our high or low of the day, and that is my personal favorite way to do so. However, there are a few more quarterly theory cracks and correlations which we can use, which would be a PSP, a precision swing point. We can also use PSPs to confirm manipulation, just like we do a SSMT. High/low of the day will most likely either be a 1 hour or a 4 hour PSP. A PSP alone is enough to be confident that the high or low of the day is in, but look for them to form at specific key levels, so whether that be inside of a fair value gap or at a premium or discount of the previous day's range. So if you look at the visual to the right, this is the 4-hour chart. Just imagine the red candle is, for example, 2 AM, which will be the London session, and it's traded into 50% a discount of that previous daily range, while also hitting that key level, being the fair value gap. And then once this has occurred, you can then go ahead and wait for that candle to close and confidently trade the New York AM session, the 6 o'clock candle, the 10 o'clock candle, in line with your daily bias. So in this example, it would be bullish, taking price higher after manipulating lower and closing as that PSP. And keep in mind, I have videos of sequential SMT and PSPs on my YouTube already. So if you don't quite understand how they work, make sure to check those out. Now the final way that you could confirm high or low of the day is in, confirm that daily bias, will be through an SMT Fill, which is another quarterly theory crack and correlation. This is where one asset fills a gap and another asset fails to fill its exact same gap. So a high time frame SMT Fill, such as on the 1 or 4 hour, can also be our manipulation, just like a PSP. However, just an SMT Fill alone usually won't be enough. You'd ideally want to see it paired with either a lower time frame SSMT or a PSP. So if we take a look at the visual to our right, imagine this being the 4-hour chart again, and the red candle that drops into that gap, let's just say that's 2 AM again. So that would essentially be the London session, and as you can see, one asset trades into its gap and one asset fails to trade into its gap, which obviously shows strength within the asset that fails to trade into the gap and shows strength overall within inside of that triad, confirming your bullish daily bias, which is what it would be within this example right here. Again, I have a video of SMT Fill on my channel, so if you're unsure about how it works, make sure to check that out. And now finally, the best thing to do would be combining the cracks and correlations. So instead of just picking one and being confident each day, I would combine at least 2 of them together. Even 3 would be even better, but it's not always going to be 3. You're going to want to see at least 2 mainly, okay? So in this example here, let's imagine we're looking at the 4-hour. We've got a bullish daily bias. We're looking at the 4-hour chart on that new day. Price then trades into its fair value gap, or below it, should I say, filling it completely on the asset to the left. And then the asset started to the right of it would be another member of the triad, which you can see does trade below 50% of its gap, but doesn't quite fill it completely, which is another form of an SMT fill, covered in my SMT Fill YouTube video as well. So now we've got that on the higher time frame, the 4-hour, which can be enough by itself to be confident that the low of the day is in. But now we're actually dropping down to a time frame, not 1 lower, but 2 lower, being the 15-minute, which is where we view our daily cycle. And as we know, that is one of the best ways to confirm our daily bias. And then you can see we actually have a daily cycle SSMT occur, followed by a TCISD to confirm the sequential SMT, and then the sequential SMT and the SMT fill confirms our daily bias, okay? So once all of that has occurred, it may seem like a lot, but it really isn't, okay? Just zoom out to the 4-hour. Are we inside of a gap? Is it an SMT fill? If the answer is yes, drop down to a 15. Do we have a daily cycle? If not, drop down to a 5-minute. Do we have a 90-minute? If the answer is yes to one of those, wait for a TCISD. That shows that price is obviously trading away from the manipulation candle, the SSMT candle, and then you can begin looking for trades in line with your bias, either taking price higher in this example, or of course if you are bearish, okay? So hopefully everything here made sense, guys, and I hope that you guys found this video useful. If you did, I would really appreciate a like and a subscription. Let me know of any other quarterly theory or in general trading videos that you would like to see from me. And with that being said, make sure to go ahead and check out my premium membership group, link below in the description, as well as my quarterly theory indicator, and as well as my other social medias. I hope that you guys found this video useful, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.